both of my experiences, I went past my due date. So I was over the 40 weeks, over the 9 months. And unfortunately, for both, I had to be induced. I was really hoping for my second, time around, I wouldn't have to be, just so I could, have a different experience, just kind of go like, oh, have my water break at home, just like you see in the movies and the TV shows, and then you just like go to the hospital. Nah, it wasn't like that. So I was induced for both.
And just to give some clarification for those who've never had children, such as myself, inducing means like going on Pitocin or popping your water or both?
Yeah, both, all of the above, everything. Yeah. It's it's a lot. So pretty much when you're going to be induced at that point. You've chatted with your doctor, you're going to go in. And yeah, you get on Pitocin. They pretty much like control your contractions. They pop your water. I'm not going to tell you how they pop your water, but they pop your water.
Okay. Can I stop you for a second? Like how long, when you first get the Pitocin, how long before it like kicks in of like your uterus being like, whoa, okay, something's going on here?
Pretty quickly. Like it's crazy how fast things start to go.
And for popping your water, is it some kind of like hanger hook contraption that they stick up there that they just like yank? Yeah.
Literally, it feels like a water balloon is there, and someone's breaking the water balloon inside of you, and then it just gushes out. It's really hot, the water.
But that must be such a surreal experience to feel that though, inside your body.
Yeah, but at that point, I should also mention, which is so funny, when you get to the hospital, for people maybe that are pregnant or will be pregnant, you just leave your dignity at the entrance. At the front door, leave your dignity. Everyone's going to see everything. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a disaster. Just don't worry. They've seen it before. They've probably seen worse. Just leave everything at the door.
Okay, so I'm glad that you opened the door to this conversation because for the novices out there, do they expect you to go in groomed, or are they going, like, because they want to be able to get to everything, right? They don't want to have to like go through bushes to like help you deliver this child. So
for sure.
Is it preferable that you've like done some like scaping of some sort?
They say they don't care. I think it's up to yourself and how comfortable you are with everything, because there's not just one person looking down there. There's a handful of people looking down there
who've seen those hundreds of vaginas.
Totally.
At that point.
Absolutely. So yeah, for me, I was on the Pitocin and everything. So pretty much they're controlling my contractions.
Yeah.
And then it just pretty much moves from there. I really don't remember much. All I remember was my first one. Obviously, the first time around usually takes a lot longer.
The first contraction or the first delivery?
The first delivery takes longer. Like I was in contractions for a while. I did get the epidural. I think the scariest thing about the epidural, and it happened during both my experiences, is I was having mega contractions while he was putting the needle in my back, which is the scariest thing, because you're having these insane contractions. Like you're in so much pain, and then he's like, don't move. You're like, okay.
And the more you think about not moving is probably like the more painful it is. Did you have back labor? Like
yes.
my mom and my sister complain about it's like hot knives in your back. Like you feel like your back is like breaking.
100%. I can't even describe the feeling. It's awful. I feel like it was significantly worse my first time around. Like I can't, again, the pain agony level out of this world. But I remember as soon as I got the epidural, my first one, you could actually breathe, which is like a sigh of relief. You could actually breathe. You could catch your breath. You can't move at all because you got things sticking out and everything. And something else that surprised me too, because in the movies, maybe the mom is hooked up to like one thing, maybe two things. But in reality, you're hooked up. You have IVs everywhere. You have it on your tummy. You have it in like both your wrists. You have it down in your back.
Not an IV in your tummy, but just like
but just like something to like monitor the heartbeat and everything. You are hooked up. My goodness, so much. So usually at that point, once you get the epidural, if you choose to get epidural, then you can kind of relax, take it easy. Some mothers sleep. That's fantastic because yes, you do feel the contractions, but it's not painful. You feel pressure. You just feel a little bit of pressure come and then go. And that's it. It's lovely. So my first time around,
just takes the edge off.
Just takes the edge off. And it's like, honestly, I was terrified to get the epidural. But in that moment when I was in excruciating pain,
this is the first time?
I didn't think twice. Yes, I did not think twice. Mm-hmm. I didn't think about the needle. I didn't think about the consequences. What if something went wrong? I didn't think about anything. I was just like, I need help.
Yeah.
But at that point, I did not take a nap like all the maybe other people do. At that point...
Can I stop you for a sec?
Yeah.
Going back to the epidural with the first baby, did you go into it thinking, I'm going to try and go as long as I can, like endure pain up until like the last like window of opportunity to take the epidural? Or did you go in being like, I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to get it?
I knew I was going to get it. It was whether or not when I was going to get it. I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, I don't need an epidural. I can, withstand the pain. Nah, I've been in pain for 9 months. Just help me out with this. We're good.
Totally.
The funny thing is about an epidural, like, and people probably know, but like your legs go numb. You cannot feel your legs. It is the weirdest thing. But
any tingling at all? Like, is it like
bit.
the dentist's office where he's like, you're numb, but you're like, you feel like weird, or it's like a different sensation?
I think it's different, although like very foggy on that, but I'm pretty sure it's different.
Yeah.
So with my first one, every contraction that came, his heartbeat dropped. So I was doing all different weird positions with it. I think it's called like the peanut ball, and different types of balls and different positions to
peanut ball.
Yeah. It's like a weird shaped, like exercise ball, I would say.
Oh.
Going on my side, putting into my legs, sitting, up a little bit, going my other side, doing like all these weird positions in hopes to help him that his heart wouldn't drop every contraction. So it got to a point where the doctor came in, which is like, you don't see the doctor like ever. You and your nurse are like besties. You see the doctor like once or twice. They'll pop in, say hi, quickly check something, quickly do something, and peace out. Like the doctor is not with you at all.
Because they're like delivering other babies?
Yeah, I guess. They're just like a lot busier. I don't know. But and that surprised me too. So the doctor came in, and I remember her saying, if we can't, we'll give it another 10 minutes. But if we can't, get your son's heartbeat regular and it doesn't drop every contraction, you're going to have an emergency C-section to get him out.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, like literally I'm terrified of C-sections. I was like, I do not want a C-section. Thank the Lord. My nurse found a position, and I just stayed there, and it was fantastic. I did not have to have an emergency C-section, thank goodness. Another thing that surprised me was during the actual pushing, with my first one especially, I was pushing for, let's say, an hour and 45 minutes. The nurse was there the entire time. The doctor came in 5 minutes before he was born.
Right.
So like I was like wondering, I was like, when is the doctor coming in? Isn't this when the doctor kind of comes in and
well,
like
at that point is like, is it necessary? You just need somebody to catch the baby at that point. You're doing it all yourself.
Right. So that shocked me too. I was like, okay, you go, nurse. Yeah, you do your thing. So
how long had you been in labor before you were pushing?
Because I was induced, you get induced like that morning, and usually have it like that evening kind of thing. So that's kind of what happened to me. I got induced like that morning, and I think I had him like late that night, early the following morning.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's pretty quick just because they're controlling everything, which is really fun. Ice chips are God. Like, they're amazing. They taste so good in the moment. I don't know why. Yeah, valid. And just the crunch and the coldness tastes so good. And in all the freaking TV shows and movies, you see when someone's in labor and they're screaming, like we all know, that doesn't happen. No one is screaming. Because they tell you to push down. So use all that energy, because if you're screaming is coming out, but they want you to push that energy down. So they say close your mouth and push it down.
I totally believe that that's what they told you. I do remember when my sister's first was born, we were sitting in like the maternity area, but in like the waiting room, like not in like the birthing rooms. And trust me, we could hear one of those mothers screaming her ass off. And I'm pretty sure she was one of those who came from a culture where they never talked about sex or what pregnancy is or what it entails. So she was shocked as shit as about like what was going to happen to her, because she had no concept, and she was freaking out. And
well, they recommend, like they tell you, like close your mouth. Okay, now bear down and push down, right?
Makes sense.
Like, I didn't know. I didn't really take any of those like classes beforehand, like the prenatal classes or like the delivery classes beforehand. So I wasn't. I don't know why I did it. I was just like, I'll figure it out.
And you didn't with your second either.
Nah, because I was like, nah.
Because you're like, I already did that.
Because the nurses, at least where I was, coached you so much and helped you through it so much. I felt like I didn't need to go to those classes. Like the nurse was so good with me. Like she like counted with me. She was there with me. Like so good. Sorry, should also say during my first, my mom and my husband were in the room with me, and then during my second, my husband was in the room, and they were both very supportive and helpful and there for me and like rubbing my back and doing all the things, right? But I would say that surprised me too. How was my mom?
Yeah, watching her child give birth, like it's a whole different thing when you see your child like endure pain to bring in like a life into the world. Was she kind of losing it at some points? Was she, strong and stoic for you the whole time? Yeah.
Yeah, she was strong. I think, like you said, it's hard to see like your kid, have so much pain. So I think I felt like she wanted to take that pain from me.
Yeah, she probably felt helpless at some points.
Right. So that was that. And another thing that people don't talk about, which is fascinating to me, because it happened in both my deliveries.
You shit yourself?
Oh, the first time I did, I was scared to do it, but in the moment, who cares? The nurse was like, she just acted like nothing happened, and I was like, did I shit myself? Did I just shit myself? And she's like, what? No, I don't know. Don't worry, you just keep going, darling. You got it. And I was like, I shit myself, didn't I? Because you can't feel anything, so you really don't know, right? But they're just taking it like, you don't worry. I'm just like, oh my God. But the thing is, and I didn't know this, when you're like in the moment of delivering, like during the contractions and everything, there is so much pressure in your butt.
Ah.
Yes, because I don't know, whatever the insides of a woman, there's so much pressure in your butt. Both times I thought my butt was gonna explode. My butt was gonna break. Literally.
Interesting.
And it is,
I guess that kind of makes
feeling.
sense.
Yeah, it's the weirdest
if you think
feeling,
about
it
like
has
when
to go
you
down and then up, right? I think like the baby.
Well, if you think about putting in a tampon, you don't put it straight, right? You put it at the 45 degree to the small of your back. So then, yeah, if you think about like where the uterus probably is, it's probably somewhere in that area. So that makes sense.
Right. So much pressure in your butt. So just prepare for that, because I was not prepared for that.
I don't need to prepare for anything because I don't have to worry about that.
So that wasn't, I feel like that was a normal like first delivery. My second delivery though, my, and I will speed through this. Pretty much got induced, did everything, but things moved at a rapid pace. I think I got Pitocin. The doctor checked on me. She's like, okay, cool. I'll come back in a few hours. I'm like, okay, see you in a bit. And then all of a sudden, The nurse left. She's like, I just gotta do something. I'll be right back. Because usually they're in your room 24/7. They like usually don't really leave. But she's like, I'll be right back. Like, don't worry, you're okay. I'm like, okay, no problem. But then things got really bad.
Oh.
I got to the point where I couldn't talk. So I started freaking ringing the like bell like at the nurse's station to like come. I was in so much pain. Wherever the pain was, the epidural was not helping. Yeah. Like I had so much pain in my back. Where did I have the pain? I don't even, in my butt. I think it was like all in my butt. And I kept saying, my butt's going to explode. My butt's going to explode. I literally kept saying that. So, but before the nurse left the room, they checked me and I was like at a 4 centimeter. And they're like, okay, she has a long time to go.
Because you have to be at 10.
Yes. I shit you not. 4 minutes later, and I'm screaming bloody murder at this point, saying my butt is going to explode. Right.
What the hell?
So then the nurses run in because they're like, we just checked on her. Why is she being so dramatic?
Yeah.
They run into the room, 2 nurses, and they're like, okay, we'll get into a different position, get into the position. I am screaming, crying, screaming that my butt is going to blow up. And then they check me, and then they're like, oh shit, his head's right there. So how in 4 minutes did he slip and slide in my body almost
right? Because you were, they checked you and you were 4 centimeters.
Yes.
And then in 4 minutes, you jumped up to 10.
So I think I was in so much pain because he was slipping and sliding his way inside me.
Yeah. He's like.
And then it was like a mad rush. It was a mad rush. Like they were like getting the doctor, trying to get the baby stuff all ready. Like it was crazy. And also in the middle of me pushing during that, the mother beside me in like the room beside me was a little further along. So my doctor literally had to leave during my pushing. And she's like, okay, Sarah, you're doing great. Maybe let's not push as hard and I'll be right back.
What?
Okay.
Hold the baby in? What?
Yeah, pretty much. Literally, he was out in 14 minutes of pushing. It was a wild experience. No, that's fast. Because my last one was like an hour and 45 minutes of pushing.
Yeah, that is fast.
It was wild. So, just to sum it up, lots of pressure in your back, lots of pressure in your butt that people don't talk about. My goodness. Don't be bad if you poop, if whatever happens, like they've seen it. Don't even worry. Yeah.
So what about tearing or the ring of fire? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The ring of fire is right when the baby's head is like about to plop, just like come out. It's like right there. It's like that. It's like the biggest part of their body. That's just
Sarah's trying to show me.
I'm like using my hands. No one can see me. That's like about to just like plop out, and it literally feels like down there, like your downstairs area is on fire. Yeah, and it's like literally feels like it's like a circle that's on fire. But it's only lasts a few minutes, so it's bearable.
A few minutes.
Yeah. Seconds, minutes. I don't know at that point. I don't know. I have no idea. And then, yes, I do have a stat on this, actually. 9 out of 10 first-time moms will have some sort of tear or whatever that tear is between that and your butt. I forget what's called.
Like a first-degree tear or the perineum tear? Or?
Yeah. So most people do have tears.
Look at me knowing this
degree,
stuff.
Second degree, third degree, whatever. So that's normal. Whether you tear or the doctor, like, helps you just to get it out.
Like cut, yeah.
Exactly. It's normal. That's just kind of sucky for recovery, but it's okay.
Yeah, because peeing and pooping becomes challenging.
Absolutely. There's also 1 in 5 women that are induced nowadays. Did you know that?